Hello world, Augustine Cortez coming live from Web3, and today was a fairly narrow day. Nothing too extremely exciting, a lot of recap going on. I did jump into the DeFi world, which is fairly new to me. I would say it's my weak forte, but it was really exciting to get my feet wet, learn about the in-depths of DeFi because DeFi was the core stepping ground for NFTs and bringing a strong pool of crypto users. And the reason I got into DeFi was because someone in my network who's been keeping up with Learnio saw how we're growing, the exposure, and we are chatting back and forth. He's a developer in Solidity, and I told him my background was mainly more in biz ops and marketing and venture. And from there, it became a connection. But then he asked me, like, hey, I'm launching this startup in DeFi. If there's any way you can help out, we'd be glad to get your support. So like, yeah, it's interesting. I would like to jump into DeFi some way, lightly, obviously have my priorities and area of scope. But I went in there and I learned about the product, and that's where it's funny, like the tab that I left off yesterday or the night prior was literally introduction to DeFi or how to get started in DeFi. And I know the video was going to cover like liquidity pools, collateral, smart contracts within DeFi. So that was the area I was going to start, today or the next day. That's usually how I start. I was like, okay, this is a good place to start tomorrow morning. And yeah, so it was like a full circle on that. And then I went into depths of DeFi. I learned more about liquidity pools, collateral, stable coins, about, people sometimes just want to peg to stability in the sense of like the US dollar. They want to tie it to that component. So getting exposure on DeFi, I asked the team, I'm like, hey, okay, how would you explain this to the user? I went to the biz ops role of who's the ideal user, how would you simply define it, what's the core product, what's the vision, what makes you stand out, the UX, how do you deal with psychological safety, especially with money. And it was good because, DeFi is not my forte, but everything I know in the space and bringing it to the table is a exciting process. So that was in the DeFi world. Still have a lot to learn there, but it's good to get a holistic viewpoint of crypto's entirety, because I think I saw today, I think half, I don't want to say the number, it just slipped through my mind, but there's billions of dollars in DeFi now. And the video that I saw was around a year and a half old, and I think the market cap when the video was made was less than $1 billion. So, this is exponential growth. The protocols are evolving and people are building on top of existing processes. So other than that, I learned more about Solidity. There's a really good writer out there named Yos. His website is yos.io. Really good articles, in depth, gives components of Solidity, smart contracts, blockchain, and consumed a lot of that. And then where I transitioned more to like an overview of operations was with NFT smart contracts. So now I have the full step-by-step process on running the smart contract for the NFT, from generating the art via a script, getting the layers, the artwork ready to go, uploading it to IPFS, but then also the process of keeping the images pre-revealed, how to prevent revealing the metadata, running functions to randomize the minting order. That way, not all rares are sniped, and how to push it to a testing net and then push it to the main net and then get it onto OpenSea. So, that's the process of NFT collection, checklist, and it's really, really cool. I also read a really advanced article from Paradigm, the venture firm, on smart contracts, and there was a lot of things on the checklist that should be done on how to reduce like gas wars, how to make it a bit more accessible, how to build a community and foster relationships even before the launch. So yeah, there's a lot of movement going on in that space, but I'm really excited just to get one step closer every day for our collection This is where everything we learned prior, the longevity of building and learn for the past 18 months. This is going to be, our form of alt funding. We're, for the sake of transparency in this video, we're close towards the end. If it doesn't work, we're gonna, not make financial means. We've had the discussion with the team, things are tight. So with this NFT process, it is another form of alt funding, and it give us more runway to build. And best thing of all is that's on blockchain, which if we start from day one, who knows where we would be, but hey, we're here now, right? So yeah, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of things going on simultaneously, but every day is one step forward, and got to keep that fortitude going on. And keeping the optimism too. Being a founder, you're punched in the face every single day, learning, adopting, struggling for such a long time. It is an anchor, and a lot of rifts can happen internally. Your mental state can be affected, but that's for another conversation. Keeping it tied to daily learnings. There's a lot of variables, a lot of things going on, and we're looking to have a launch date fairly soon, fairly soon. I think if we stick to our scope, which I've been the extreme on the team, like Fausto, I've been very, very. It's not my management style, but I've been more on the micromanagement. Like, hey, checking in, asking questions, process, being hyper diligent of preventing scope creep, and so on. But if we get this up in the air, I think we're gonna get a lot of breathing room and some life back into the future. All right, so I'll conclude it here. Nice and sweet all over the area, but progress is being made. All right, so with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow, and thank you for tuning in.